Okay. Good morning to everyone. I am Ayla Marias Arroyo and welcome to English Reading and Writing. So before we start, let us first review of the past lesson. Let's review your past lesson last Monday. So um, our lesson last Monday is about techniques in selecting and organizing. So first, let us know what is techniques. So techniques are approaches or methods you, as a writer, may use to organize the information you have gathered to accomplish your desired aim in writing and to improve your writing craft. So, these techniques are the writers use to organize the information you're gathered to accomplish your desired aim and also to improve your writing craft. And for you to be able to organize your information, you are going to use graphic organizer. Graphic organizer, also known as knowledge map, concept map, story map, cognitive organize, advanced organizer, or concept diagram, is a communication tool that uses visual symbol to express knowledge, concept, thoughts, and ideas, and the relationship between them. So, for to be able for the writer to organize or to improve the writing, they use the graphic organizer. So, now, let's proceed to our new lesson for today. So, the title of our lesson for today is um, Patterns of Development in Writing across disciplines. So, when you say patterns of development and writing uh, across disciplines, it means that there's a certain structure to be followed or a certain types of text which you can use not just in uh, creating a paragraph um, or developing a paragraph, but even in writing a specific composition or paper or type of writing. So now, before we proceed with the different patterns or text types or text structures or even types of paragraphs, let us first know what is a paragraph and how are we going to write a paragraph. So, writing paragraph. Writing a paragraph is a collection of related sentences with one central idea. Next is, as an independent unit, it is complete in itself. It has its beginning, middle, and end. And as a related unit, it is a part of a composition that is combined um, with other paragraphs to make a larger composition. So, when you have a writing a paragraph, so it is not right to create an essay with just one paragraph only, because in your essay you have different main ideas there. You need to use different main ideas and you should have separated them into paragraphs or group the sentences that are related or that are containing one main idea. So, and um, and also it is the type of sentence wherein if you are going to read that sentence, you would say that this is what the paragraph is all about, or this is what the whole paragraph is. The whole paragraph is trying to say, and when we also have the supporting details. When you say supporting details, um, those are the what do you call this? Those are the sentences or the main idea or supporting your topic sentence. What do you- It can be the facts, examples, or explanations, and so on. So, now knowing what is a paragraph, let us um, let us go to the different methods or techniques in a paragraph development. So, these different types of methods and techniques, you also encountered this in your academic subject or English subject, and sometimes we call them text types or text structures. And the first one is, oh no, there's another. So, writing paragraph, an effective paragraph, an effective paragraph shows the unity of the sentences used in developing the main idea. A paragraph is made up of the topic sentence, which contains what do you call this? Which contains the main idea supporting the supporting details and the conclusion of the clinching sentence at the end. So that is and the first technique or the first methods is the narration. So narration, a narrative paragraph or essay tell a story and explains how something happened. So next is and also what do you call this? A narrative paragraph or essay tell a story and explains how something happened. It's from the word itself, narration. You are narrating and you are telling a story. And now a narrative paragraph simply tells what happened and establishes facts. It explains how, when, and where an event or occurrence actually what happened. So also narration, it is the most common type of paragraph development. It has the following elements: the setting. Setting is the time and place. The character is um, this is the one who give a life to the story, or they are the ones who are creating, or they are the ones who give an action to the story. And next is the plot. Plot is the sequence of events, and lastly is the point of view, the perspective that is being used to tell a story. So the next, let's have an example of a narrative paragraph. So here, an example, the writer from the Camason College narrate or narrating her new career, and here is he or she telling her story about her new career. So let's read. So so here, the morning of my big job interview started like any other. I woke with a good night's sleep under my belt, determined and confident in getting a new job as a swamper for Williams Moving and Storage. The night before the interview, I practiced moving the furniture from one end of the house to the another. My roommates thought I was crazy. Arising from bed, I felt stronger like a rodeo ball. A rodeo ball? Wait. A rodeo ball waiting to get out of his cage. Sitting at the kitchen table eating my Wheaties, I started looking at the furniture around me in a new light. The hide a bed in the living room was a 300-pound finger-eating monster opening and closing snapping. And closing snapping at me. Looking out onto the covered patio, the wicker furniture was floating, almost drifting by itself to the front door. Then and there I knew that moving furniture was my calling. Walking to the front door, I give the hide a bed a good stiff kick. So here, the narrator or the writer telling his or her story about her new career and what is he or she doing before the night of he or he he or her or his interview. And the next technique is classification. So a classification or essay explains a subject by dividing into types of categories. So from the word itself, classification, you are classifying at things, you are categorizing at things, you are grouping them into their kinds. So in a classification paragraph, you tell readers how a collection of items can be sorted into categories. It is an activity of sorting items like people, things, ideas into categories. For the example, you are categorizing a food. You are categorizing a food by three types like go, grow, and glow. So for another example, there's an example here. The example is the title is Tattoo You. It's from also to Camason College. So the writer here, he or she described the annoying customers in the tattoo um in the tattoo shop. So in the tattoos, he described the customers by three types. So the first is the time waster, and the second one is know it all, and the third one is what is the bargain hunter. So let's read. The title of this paragraph is Tattoo You. So having worked in a tattoo studio for the past year, tattoo studio, the writer here tell that he or she work at the tattoo studio. I have come to recognize three types of annoying customers that invariably stroll through the door. The first is the time waster. Generally, the time waster is not serious about getting a tattoo now, or probably ever, but nevertheless is hell-bent on wasting the artist's time. With a barrage of any question, they often talk big and have grandiose plans for the ultimate back piece, but when it comes time to put down a deposit for the work, they suddenly say something like, "That sounds great. I'll be back in 6 months when my next student loan comes in." Meanwhile, the artist has started drawing the design while three what is going while three serious clients went to another less or busy studio. The next type of annoying client is the know-it-all. These people usually have a friend with a tattoo, or maybe even a small one themselves, and therefore consider themselves to be experts on the subject. The subject is the tattoo. They contradict the artist on everything and insist on using words they've heard in a movie because they think it makes them sound in the know. So, ito, let's say ito yung ano, yung maraming, alam na yung lahat. and nagmamarunong. And what they don't realize, however, is that those in the know is that those in the know would never use a word like tati to describe the art. Finishing up the list of types of annoying tattoo studio customer is the bargain hunter. So, the bargain hunters clearly believe that when having a design committed to their skin for life, to their skin for life, my God, getting the lowest price, getting the lowest price is the top priority. Bargain hunters often um, so, have a body, wait for a minute, I can't read it. Have a body from some disreputable source like their kitchen table who would do it much cheaper. Well, what all these people don't seem to realize is that tattooing is a serious art form that artists dedicate their lives to learning and executing. A little respect and some manners would be appreciated from Camason College. So that is the classification. Classification is you are classifying, categorizing, and groupings at um, things or people like that from the paragraph. So that is the classification. So the next or the third one is the comparison and contrast. So a comparison tells how two things are similar, and the comparison tells how two things are similar, and another is a contrast. Contrast is tells how they are different. So in a comparison, these are two things which similar, and when you say contrast, these are the two things that different. So I So, a comparison and contrast paragraph or essay explains how two subjects are similar or different. So, a comparison and contrast paragraph has a unifying idea or purpose of attempting to weigh decision between two ideas or subjects. It must be balanced in such a way that there is an equal amount of information for each subject to avoid bias. So, like for example, you are comparing Mobile Legends to League of Legends. So if you're going to put information about the Mobile Legends and Mobile Legends, you also to put that information to the League of Legends. So for you to be able to avoid bias. So like for example, I'm sorry. The title of this paragraph is Transportation Choices. So, when faced with the choice of driving their own car or using the bus, the majority of North Americans opt for cars. They are not put off by the fact that owning and running a car is expensive when compared to the cost of monthly or annual transit passes in most cities. In addition to the initial cost of a car, there is gas, repairs, insurance, and parking, which add up to thousands a year, while a typical bus pass is about $50 a month. Yet most people are willing to pay this price for the convenience of owning a car. They enjoy the freedom of coming and going according to their own whims. They are simply not willing to put up with waiting for buses that stop far from their homes and are often packed with unkempt. Unkempt strangers. Cars are comfortable with personal spaces, in contrast to the grungy and impersonal feeling in many buses, but as they motor happily along, few car owners even think about what their personal vehicle use is going to the environment. Do they know that a loaded bus creates much less population per person than a car does? Unfortunately, until there is a huge change in the attitude of car owners towards using public transit, cars will continue to rule the roads and our environment in our cities will pay the price. So, so here the car and the bus, you can see or you can read here that they compare and they contrast about the expenses and also for the waiting the time. So that is the comparison and contrast paragraph. So the next one is as conclusion. The next one is the cause and effect. So the next one is the cause and effect. A cause is what makes a particular thing happen. So that is the cause. And an effect is what results from a particular situation, activity, or behavior. And cause and effect explains the reasons, or reasons is the causes, why something happened and describes the results. The result is the effect of an event, action, or condition. So, don't be confused with those situation, activity, or behavior, event, action, or condition. So, that's all the effect of the cause. So, that is the possible effect of the um, of the of your topic or your some idea. So the next is the cause and effect. Cause and effect paragraphs are written for the following purposes. So the cause and effect is written with this following purposes. So it to discuss why a certain phenomenon occurs, to discuss the results of a phenomenon, event, feeling, or action, to understand a situation, to solve a problem, to predict an outcome, to entertain, and to persuade. So that is the cause and effect and what is purpose. So like for example, the title of this paragraph is How Drugs Can Destroy People's Lives. So we know that how drugs can destroy our lives when we use this kind of drugs. So drug addiction is a serious health issue that affects addicts, their families, and society. First of all, drug addiction has severe physical effects on the addict's body. Drug users can experience many physical symptoms including sickness, fevers, sweats and shakes, loss of appetite, and weight loss. So those are the effect of the drugs when you are using the drugs. The sickness, the fevers, sweats and shakes, loss of appetite, and weight loss. They also face the danger of contracting serious diseases such as AIDS, hepatitis, and other communicable diseases, not to mention the risk of overdose. Families and friends of drug addicts are also inevitably affected by their addiction. See how the drug addict or how the users of the drug can affect their families and friends. Addiction can lead to serious financial problems. Yes, that's true. Loss of trust, and eventually family breakup and divorce. Society as well pays a cost. Crime rates go up, and more security and hospital care is needed, which are all paid for by taxpayers. Drug addiction is a destructive way to live. Maybe more would be done about it if it were looked at not just as a problem that addicts face alone, but as something that affects society as a whole. So here in the paragraph, you can read or you can see here that the drugs is can affect a different types of um, people. It can affect your families and also your body. Also, you can do a crime to our society. So that is the drugs do to our lives. So here you can see here the what are the effects of the drugs to our body, to the people around us, and also people who uses the drug, they can do a crime, or they can do a murder to people. And next is the description. So description, a descriptive paragraph or essay describes a person, thing, place, or situation. So description, from the word itself, description, you are describing a person, a thing, place, or situation. So, like for the example, here is the title of this paragraph is My First Apartment. So here he described he or she apart here or his apartment rather. So my first apartment was a third floor walk up on a busy street in downtown Vancouver. The building was a faded brown characterless box. My apartment was damp, a dimly lit narrow hallway covered in a worn 50s style dark green carpeting. So here, you can see at these three sentences how he or she described his or her apartment. So from the first sentence, he or she described the apartment, that the apartment was in the third floor, and also there are faded brown characterless box, and also the apartment was done a dimly lit narrow hallway covered in one fetus style dark green carpeting. So when I say apartment, I really mean room, because there was just one small square room, so with a tiny bathroom. The air was humid and musty. One small window provided a perfect view of the brown stucco wall of the building next door. A small avocado-colored stove and fridge highlighted the kitchen, which consisted of a few shabby painted wood cupboards that projected into the room. Along one wall was an older pale blue sofa, which was also my bed. A small red card table with two chairs served as my kitchen and dining room table. A few feet away, several large cardboard moving boxes contained all of my clothes and personal possessions. The, the one broad spot was a large poster of a winter mountain scene which I had hung on the dull gray wall. It helped me survive the 8 months I called this damp home. So here in the sample of description paragraph, the title is my first apartment. So he or she described his or her apartment. The next is persuasion. So persuasion, also called argument. So persuasion is a persuasive paragraph tries to persuade the reader to accept your point of view, or even to change his or her point of view. And Also, it intends to convince readers to do or what I can say, or believe in something. So, a persuasion paragraph tries to convince the reader that a particular point of view is worthy of consideration. It wants you to it wants you to consider both sides of an issue, but it reveals a bias in favor of one side over another. So, when you are writing a persuasive paragraph, definitely there is a controversial one or debatable one, and since the topic is debatable or there can be two sides of that. So, like for example, the death penalty. So, the death penalty is you're going to consider both sides. What will are you? Do you agree with that or do you disagree with that? And what will happen if it will be approved? What will happen if it will not be approved? So, another is, however, if you're presenting different paragraph or text um, text, you still have to reveal your sides or your stand. Where do you believe or what is your stand about that particular issue? And you need to prove you still have to support your stand and make the readers believe you. So, for example, of the how do I call this? Of the persuasion paragraph, the title of the paragraph is "Time to Get Though with Drunk Drivers." So, it's time for the courts to crack down on drunk drivers. Often, even repeat offenders get small fines when caught driving with alcohol levels above the legal limit. But drunk driving is a serious crime and should be treated as such. Drunk drivers cause most serious accidents, but all situations involving drunk drivers have the potential for serious consequences. Drunk drivers threaten the safety of everyone on the road. Cars are weapons, and drunk driving is a form of assault. People should be responsible for their actions. And if they choose to drink and drive, then they should pay the price. Definitely. Often, the victims of accidents caused by the drunk drivers suffer long after these drivers have paid their debt to society. The law should be changed so that all cases of drinking and driving would result in jail time and vehicles would be confiscated. Then perhaps more people would think twice about drinking and writing. So that is the sample of persuasion paragraph. So the next one is the example. Example, also called illustration. So, an example paragraph or essay makes a point about a topic by providing examples to support. So, if you are going to write an example paragraph or essay, you need to provide an examples to your topic to support your topic. Like for the example here, the sample of the illustration paragraphs is the plastic people. So plastic people, today men and women of all ages undergo surgery to achieve the looks they desire. Cosmetic surgery is so common to some it is a lifestyle. Some of the most popular procedures are breast implants, if breast implants, liposuction, facelifts, and hair hair transplants, because many prefer fuller, bigger breasts. A good number of women from all walks of life undergo the painful and costly procedure of breast implants. Even though the risks are well known, many still take their chances. And what goes better with bigger breasts than a flat abdomen? Liposuction is a quick fix for those who find good diet and exercise and what effective and time consuming. Another popular procedure for both men and women is the surgical facelift. This process promises men and women a younger and fresher look. For men who are worried about baldness, there is hair replacement. Thanks to medical advances, men can avoid the harsh reality of balding by undergoing a long-lasting hair transplant procedure. Many value plastic surgery even though it's costly and can have a number of negative side effects. In spite of the many plastic surgery disasters, those obsessed with having the perfect face and body will keep the business alive and well. So that is the plastic people. So this is not a literary that the plastic people yun yung parang something na yung about sa personality natin. So it's plastic people is those are who are undertaking the surgery for their face and for their body. So number 8 is the definition. A definition paragraph or essay explains what something is in comparison to other members of its class, along with any limitations. So, definition, these are the essays that you are going to, or you are going to define a topic, or you are going to define a word. Like for the example here, the questions. The question is the word that give a meaning. So questions can be many different things. A question can be an inquiring sentence which asks for a reply as in. So in questions, you can use question by you are expecting that your receiver that you're receiving that you are expecting uh, um, an answer to your receiver. So like for example, I have a question for you. So here, you as a writer, you are expecting that your receiver or that the person that you are talking is going to answer your question. So next is the word can also refer to whatever subject matter is at hand, as in the sentence. So the question of ethics is a hot topic nowadays. So the question is can also a subject matter. So here in the sample, the subject matter is ethics. So a question can refer to some sort of doubt or uncertainty, as in there is no question I'm the best man for the job. Used as a verb to question can mean the instance or act of questioning, such as police question the suspect. So question can use as a verb to a question can mean the instance. So question can also a verb. You can question whether something is right or question a celebrate what do you call it? You can question whether something is right or question a celebrity for an interview. And if you pop the question, you are proposing to your sweetheart. Therefore, a question can mean many things to many people. So that is the sample of definition paragraph. So also the definition paragraph it can have a different ways. Like for the example, the signal. So in Pag-asa, the signals the meaning of this is the signal of the typhoon. While in the telecommunication is the signal of the network. And that is a definition of paragraph. So next is problem solution. So problem solution is the last thing that I will going to discuss. So a problem solution paragraph or essay identifies a problem and proposes one or more solutions. So, when you say problem solution, it is a method for analyzing and writing about a topic by identifying a problem and proposing one or more solutions. So, if you're going to do a problem solution paragraph, so you need to identify first the problem. And when you identify the problem, and you need to propose one or more solution. So, next is, so here, like for the example here, the title is Kitty Door. So here, last week we installed a kitty door so that our cat could come and go as she pleases. So that the cat here is girl. Unfortunately, we ran into a problem. So here the problem. Our cat was afraid to use the kitty's door. So the problem here is the cat afraid to use the door, the kitty's door. We tried pushing her through, and that caused her to be even more afraid. The kitty door was dark, and she couldn't see what was on the other side. So, the first step we took in solving this problem, so this is the first step that they going to solve the problem, was taping the kitty door open. Taping the kitty door open. After a couple of days, she was confidently coming and going through the open door. However, when we removed the tape and closed the door, once again she would not go through. They say you catch more bees with honey. So we decided to use food as bait. We would sit next to the kitty door with a can of wet food. So the next solution is they're going to put a food for the cat to as a bite. So to the next door with a can of wet food and click the top of the can. When Kitty came through the closed door, we would open the can and feed her. It took 5 days of doing this to make her unafraid of using the kitty door. Now we have just one last problem. Our kitty controls our lives. So, um, their problem is they control their lives. So, that is the example of problem solution paragraph. So that's all our lesson for the day and for your assignments. So you are going to write a short essay for each of the following writing prompts. Then indicate which of the patterns you have used. What are the patterns that we are going to tackle now? So first, the narration, description, definition, exemplification, classification, a comparison and contrast, cause and effect, problem solution, and persuasion. So, I know the exemplification is we are not tackle that. So your essay will be graded using the writing rubric attached below. So here is the number 1. So here's your here you are going to put your patterns. What pattern or patterns, because you can write an essay more than 2 or more than 1 or more patterns. So the title is the prompt series is do you act differently online than in real life? And another one is what does it mean to be a family? So that is the assignment number 1. And for your assignment number 2 is search properties of a well-written text. So, okay. That's all for today. So thank you for listening and watching my pre-recorded video. And I hope you learned something. So see you to our live session.